All right, welcome back for a new episode of Hidden Gems. This is the video series where I talk about those books that are still probably tucked away in those boxes at your LCS and those back issue bins. These aren't the hot books that everybody's chasing. These are just some interesting, underpriced, undervalued type things that I think are worth talking about and feel like talking about. I know we took last week off because we had that double dip of Star Wars news following Star Wars Celebration. The boys actually helped me out there because I was falling behind from Easter, so I didn't even have a time to get a regular show ready anyway. So things worked out well. That said, I know the last couple of weeks I've been doing kind of special episodes of Hidden Gems. I know I've given you Last to Know a couple of times, and then I did that interlocking cover lover version, which is, again, things I'm going to work in here and there, probably get back to it. And I promised you I would get back to the normal swing of things. And I kind of have. But I also kind of have one more idea I wanted to try out. So bear with me as we do maybe one more time. But it still kind of fits our other previously categorizing. You'll see in a second. Hopefully you're still enjoying this show as well as everything else here on the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. I mean, I know we just had our giveaways for 2,500 subs last week. I got the one more prize that we are going to spin the wheel for all of you who've commented on last week's tax show and last week's Friday show, Mail Call Madness. So if you commented on both, you get 2 entries, but you get 1 for each. So you get 2 shots, and I put you on the wheel for this Wednesday to get that last prize. That said, even so, we've already past the 2,500 subs. We're well on our way to 2,600 already. So we're moving right along, and I couldn't have more fun doing this. So let's keep this thing rolling. And if you want to see what topic I have for you this week and what books I have picked out for you, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro. I will be right back. Okay, so as I said, we kind of have a regular show, but at the same time, we are going to focus in on a specific topic. And that specific topic I want to go over this week is homage comics. Homage. I know there's a right way to say it, and I always confuse myself with which way it is because it's been so long. I remember when I was a kid, this is actually Jim Lee's studio name, and this is his logo. And I remember I used to say it as homage. I used to say homage comics because that's what I thought it was. But I think it's homage. But that all said, that's what we're going to talk about today. So while I will give you categories, we're all going to focus in on a topic. I know a lot of you might be tired of this topic. You don't want to do homages. You get sick of them. Like, how many more ASM 300s are we going to see? How many more Spider-Man ones are we going to see? I agree. I get it. And we're not doing that yet. I thought about doing both of those or either of those for the first one of these, but decided against it. And I instead chose a different book. So the book that we're going to look at homages for is going to be, well, one of the all-time classics, if not the all-time classic, like the book, Action Comics 1. We've seen plenty of these. We've seen plenty of these over the years, and it's still one that still gets done today. That said, Action Comics #1 is what we're going to go and cover. These are just straight up regular comics. So these aren't variants. These aren't like exclusives or anything like that. These first group of books, it's not even like B covers or anything like that. These are just straight up regular release A covers, only cover comics. This is what they rolled with. Starting with Superman 201. And this is Mr. Majestic, the Wildstorm character, doing his best Supes impersonation here on Superman 201. So you can see it. It's right there. You got it. You got the car. You got the running face up front, the wheel rolling off. That's the familiar bits you're going to see throughout most of these. This layout is the layout. So you'll see it as we run through this. We're not going to go back to the original. Again, that was it. So keep that one in your mind as we roll through this. This is not an expensive book. I wanted to start with this one because it's not expensive. This is $4 to $6 this sells for. And I even think that's generous because when you go out there and look for available copies, there are some even cheaper than this, but by and large, they're $5 to $10, $5, $6, $9. Not an expensive one at all. So this is probably something you can even dig out of a dollar bin if you go digging. So keep that in mind as well. But that's where we're starting off. Just kind of, dip our toe into the water on these Action Comics 1, you know, homages. The next one is probably one of my favorites too, because I remember this from when I was collecting collecting as a kid, and that is Spidey. Yes, Spidey. More importantly, McFarlane Spidey. 306. Amazing Spider-Man 306. Granted, it's a police car in this case, and we don't have the guy running up front, but everything else is there as far as the layout goes with, hero holding the car up, wheel coming right at you, etc. This one, since it's part of that original McFarlane Spidey run, does all right these days. So you're going to pay a little bit of a premium for that. Maybe not so much for the Action homage, but $15 to $35. There's a best offer accepted. And then you can see there was a 9.8 that sold for about $250. So if you can get like a 9.8, there you go. That's your upwards limit of what you're looking at. Asking prices on this one are anywhere in that like $25 to like $35 kind of range. So as I said, this one's not that cheap because it is the McFarlane Spidey. And well, yeah, it's early in his run and it's an homage. So keep that in mind. And keep an eye out for it, because this is one I know I've even found this in dollar bins, but that was years and years ago. Now you're going to find these for a couple of bucks if you get lucky. But that McFarlane run was printed pretty well. So there are copies out there. They're not hard to find. They're out there. You just got to see if the price is right. So there's your market on it. So you can make that call when you're in your shop. That's what I'm talking about. They got this book. It's marked $5 to $10. Maybe you consider it if you see that it normally sells for, 15 to 30. I don't know. It's up to you. But that's what I'm trying to give you with this. Should give you that market rate so you can make that call for yourself when you're in your shop if you want any of these books. Up next, we're going to stick with Marvel, and we're going to take a different angle on the homage here. We're going to reverse it, and we're going to go with She-Hulk, going the other way with it. Still got the guy running forward. No tire, though, so the tire didn't fall off on this one, but Fantastic Four, number 291, is still an Action 1. So keep that in mind. Copies of this sell for, $10. There's some graded copies. It looks like a 9.8 sold for $85, and another 9.8 sold for $110. So it's a little cheaper than that Spidey, but it's still there. And there was 4 bids to get that one to $9. Granted, not $9 is not a lot of money, but the fact that there was at least 4 bids on this meant that there was some action. Like, I can't imagine anybody was looking for this book recently. Like, why? But whatever. She-Hulk. Asking prices $5, $8, $14, anywhere from like $5 to $15. You might find one of these. You can go, like I said, go dig this out of a box, maybe even dollar boxes. That's the kind of place you might be able to find this. But if it's cheap enough, why not consider it? Especially if you want to look for different, pretty cool Action 1 homage. Now, probably shouldn't have skipped, or probably shouldn't have wedged She-Hulk in between there with a Fantastic Four, because we could have went from McFarlane to McFarlane, because McFarlane didn't just do this once. He did it again. Spawn 228, February 2013. Pretty cool, fancier looking car for for Spawn there. No running person and no tire off, but still, by and large, the trade dress there matches as well, so it's an obvious homage. There is also a sketch black and white version of this that's a 125, but we'll leave that for something else down the line. But this is part of that run where they were all homage covers during that Spawn run in those 220s. But this one sells. This one sells pretty well, so it might be pricey, but we'll see. Recent sales, $57 up to $120. So not a cheap one. Asking prices, you can see one's at auction. It's only at $29 and it's a 9.6, but it's at auction. So we'll see where that one ends up. But otherwise, it's like $125 raw. Yes, you may see copies in more of a $50 range out there, but be careful. I highlighted in yellow here because there are Mexican versions of this. Not to say you can't buy the Mexican version. Just know that's what you're buying when you go and spend your money, because it looks the same for the most part. But the Mexican versions are really in that kind of like $50 to $60 kind of range, whereas the original U.S. version is, above 100. So keep that in mind. Another sneaky one that I didn't realize was as expensive as it was, and I used to have it, but I got rid of all of these comics a while back because, I don't know, I read them, they were fine, and then I was just done with it. and I didn't keep up with the title. And maybe I should have kept up with it. You guys let me know as in the comments down below if I should keep reading this or should have kept reading this. But Ice Cream Man, yeah, Ice Cream Man was super hot at one point. Figured I'd cash in, which I did. I got a decent return for these were all cover price pickups of mine. It's a lot of times pre-orders that were 50% off cover. But anyway, number 17. Yes, it says Confection Comics, but this is Ice Cream Man number 17. I think this is the I don't know if this is the A cover or the B cover, but basically they just have the two. They had the two running throughout most of the series, an A and B cover. Not sure which one of the two this is. I think it's probably the A because that's why I have it in this section and not variants, which we'll do later. But this number 17, as I said, it sells better than I thought. Recent sales, $90. Best offer on 55. And then CGC graded best offer on 160 on a 9.8 there. Like, yeah, that's interesting. I had no idea. I had no idea this was selling that well. Asking prices as well. Listed $77 with 10 watchers. $175 raw, and then there's a $140 9.8 from my comic shop as well. So some of the listings might seem a little wonky, a little all over the place there, but by and large, this is not a $10 book. This is what I would expect it. This was like 10, 12 bucks or something, but it seems to be well more than that. So, yeah, who knew, right? I guess plenty of people probably knew. I didn't know. I'll freely admit, I didn't know until I started digging into this topic. And this is why I dig into topics like this, because I learn new stuff all the time. And I like sharing it with you guys. If you weren't aware, now you know. Hey, you might go, oh, you know what? My shop's got one of those. And it's only listed for like $5 or $10. I should probably go buy it. You probably should, because I'd probably grab this for $5 or $10. That said, way to keep it rolling. We still have more action ones to go through. Underdog Comics number 1. Classic underdog. Dude running up front. There's that tire. Trade dress. Matches. Everything. Plus it's underdog. $20, $15. Copy sold. Asking prices. Kind of 20 to 30. And you see it there too. Granted, that one in the middle is a lot, but yeah, it's also got more shipping, so it's closer to like a $40 buy for 5 comics, but still, 20 to 30 bucks ain't too bad for underdog. Oddball one, we've got Weed Magic number 1. Yeah, granted, it's not a car. He's holding a blunt. Still got a dude running up front. But Weed Magic number 1, $4.20. Ha ha ha. But I remember when this came out. I did not order this or buy this when it came out, but it does okay. If you want to go buy it, it's like 15, 20 bucks. At least that's what copies sell for. Asking prices in that same kind of range. Look, $17 to $20. So Weed Magic and your Action 1 homage. You want a weird title? You didn't think that was weird enough? How about this one? I've got Wacky Squirrel Comics for you. And yes, we still got the tire. We got it's a dog guy now, but everything still matches. Dark Horse, this is issue 4 of Wacky Squirrel Comics. I had no idea what this was either. It's not that expensive, but $10. There's a copy for $3 too. So $3 to $10, but it's still an odd little thing. If you want to go digging for it, kind of a fun thing. And then you can see even here, asking prices. $2.50 all the way up to $30 and then $18. Like pretty wide range on this one. Your wacky squirrels. So good luck. Good luck if you want to go hunting wacky squirrels. And our next one, good luck finding this one, because this one, I had no idea. I still don't know what this is exactly. Jupiter from Sandberg Publishing. Jupiter number 7. This indie title. Once again, you got the tire. No guy up front here, but still. Pretty close to the Action 1. I mean, it's obviously Action 1, but pretty close in comparison. But I had no idea what this was. But I'm going to keep an eye out for it now because, well, while a copy sold for only 35, well, I should say only, sold for $35 at the end of March, the asking prices is what caught my eye. I was like, what is this? $100 or $250 for this book? What? I don't know. Apparently this is some hard to find indie title. Like I said, I don't know much about it. I freely admit that. All I can say is it's an Action 1 homage, and asking prices are pretty high. Even the $35 is surprising to me. So I'll keep an eye out on this for cheap because that's where most likely you're going to find it. Granted, I don't know if a lot of shops are going to wall book this. So most likely you're just going to find it at a discount box somewhere if they have it, because I don't think a lot of people know about this book. So go digging. Go digging. That said, let's move on to our last one in this regular cover section, and that's Popeye. Popeye number 1. Remember when everybody was chasing all those Popeye incentives, those 1 in 10s? Those were the days, right? But here's regular number one, IDW 2012. There's Wimpy up front as our running man. We've got the tire off, etc. Pretty good. Trade dress matches, etc. Popeye one, it does okay. $15 thereabouts seems to be the selling price. Asking price, 20 to 40 right now. So keep that in mind too when you're looking. All right, that's our regular cover versions. I told you we're going to have categories. So now we're going to shift into one of the other categories here, but still stick with our main topic of Action Comics 1 homages. And we're going to look at some later prints. Not many, just a couple. But a couple later printings have used this shtick to sell their book. First off, we're going to start off with Popeye again, because the second print of Popeye, it used the same cover. Trade dress is recolored. You got the yellow trade dress here. Other than that, it's the same book. But keep an eye out for the second print because it's not that easy to find. Granted, $15 is what it sold for. Asking price, $25. There's not as many. It's just not as many as the regular. And you can see the price is pretty much, equal thereabouts. So either or. First print, second print. Get your Popeye Action Comics homage. This is a super cheap one. This is one you'll find in dollar boxes, quarter boxes, 50-cent boxes. And that goes back to Death of Superman. Funeral for a Friend. Supergirl in Action Comics number 685. There's the regular, there's the second print, and there's the third print. The way you can most easily tell the difference is right there above the Superman logo, you'll see a Roman numeral number 2. That's for the second print. And the trade dress could also be different, like our third print here has a green trade dress, but there's the 3, the Roman numeral 3s. That's how DC did their printings back in those days. So keep an eye out for those. Granted, some people like collecting these later printings just for the sake of doing it, and sometimes asking prices could be higher than they should be for that weird reason. But copies have been inconsistently selling for as cheap as $3 up to $16 for something like this. Calling it a rare, I don't know how rare this is. I'm not going to say this is rare because I've come across these later printings all the time. But hey, well, I mean, I don't know how easy it is to find these days. I mean, this is from the 90s after all. So I guess maybe by today's standards, it is rare. But I just, throughout the decades, I've seen this many times. That said, asking prices that you can even see here. Look, there's copies listed for $1.29 and $10. This is a dollar bid book all day. But if you want to go find one, go find it. But it's got everything you need. All the criteria is there for a good homage to Action 1. Moving on to our next one. This is a second print for Wasted Space. I don't know if you remember this title. This is a Vault Comics. Pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good, homage here. We got the pieces there, all matching. Once again, it's a different title. It's an indie title. This one does all right if you can find it. This second print. Look, $16 to $30. It's not too bad, right? Asking prices, 25 to 40 raw. There's a 9.4 looking for $80, and then there's a 9.8 looking for $600. So just keep that in mind as well when you're out there digging in those boxes. This has that, like I said, Vault had some nice paper. So the cover is on that thicker cardstock. So as long as it didn't get beat up and all scuffed up, it could be in great shape. So keep that in mind too. And that's what I got for the later printings. Now let's get into some variants before we wrap up for today. I do have a decent number of variants though. Some of these are going to be like B cover, C cover type variants, and then we'll get to some incentives. But let's start off with those BC type covers first. Going to start off weird. Punks, the comic. Number 1. I just remember these hitting the shelves. They have that kind of like almost paper mache kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Mosaics, not mosaic, but where you chop pieces of paper out and they put it down on the paper and you just make a mashup. I forget what it's called. Anyway, this is the C cover for that first issue of Punks, the comic. And it does okay. I mean, for what it is. I mean, $10 is what a copy sold for at the beginning of March. But again, people aren't looking for this. So don't expect the prices to be that high. But asking prices are more 15 to 20. So, yeah, who knows? Keeping it weird. Uber Invasion number 2. This is what is called the G cover. I don't know what that means. Like, they made a lot of covers for these Uber titles and a lot of these Avatar books. Multiple covers, it's almost like dynamite in that sense, but I don't know what the G meant. I don't know if this is like a FOC final, reveal or whatever, but it was late in the run or late in the pile of variants. But it's number 2, and it's not a car, it's a trolley, but everything else still fits. There's still that wheel, and we still got the guy running up front. Couldn't find any copies of this thing sold. And I found 2 listed. $60 for a CBCS, I think it might be a 9.2. I can't really read it. It's kind of tiny. And then a $250 9.8. That's all I can find listed. So keep an eye out for an Uber Invasion 2, because it seems to be more valuable than I would have thought. Again, I don't know much about the Avatar books. I know they exist, and I've heard of the title before, but I've never read this Kieran Gillen book before. So if I should, let me know in the comments. Up next, we got another one. We got a B cover. Kevin Keller, number 5. Archie series. I know everybody knows Kevin Keller, right? But Kevin Keller, number 5. Pretty cool. We got the Jeep. Archie's the guy up front. Tire. Still matches. No copies of this sold recently. I'm not surprised. Not a lot of Kevin Keller buyers out there. But asking prices, 10 to 15. All right. I mean, not going to get rich, but hey, maybe find this in a dollar bin, maybe. Fun little homage. Speaking of fun, how about we go to the regular show? This isn't really up in my wheelhouse. I know of the show, but it wasn't one that I watched. But Kaboom did some comics on the regular show. Here we got a golf cart version. Again, pieces are all there. This is what they call an F cover. So again, I don't know if it's an FOC. That's just that deep into the variants. And there were some incentives, but $15 for this one. It's a Chuck BB Action Comics 1 homage. Asking prices. I could only find this in lots. As you can see, multiple covers on this title. There's covers A, B, C, D, E, and F. $80. And then we got the next one. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. Wants $100. It's just they made multiple covers for this title. And one of them happens to be the Action homage. But I don't know what it would cost on its own apart from the $15 sale. Didn't find any more out there. Now, going to keep it weird. Another series, cartoon, I didn't really watch, but I know of. And I do have more of these to cover because there are some kind of crazy incentives that are not easy to find for this title. But Adventure Time Comics, number 1, also Kaboom. This was only a 1 in 5. This was only 1 in 5, but there are other incentives out there that, again, I'll get to them. This is more of a chasing ghost kind of topic, though, because, like I said, these things aren't easy to find. I think other people might have brought these up before as well, but this has been on my to-do list for a while. I just haven't found the right time to get into Adventure Time. But maybe now that we've broken the seal with the Action homage, maybe we can do that soon. That said, this 1 in 5, couldn't find any copies sold recently. But I found one listing, and it's $150 9.8. I mean, that's not too bad for a 1 in 5. But that was it. None sold and only one out there. So like I said, not easy book to find. But good luck. Happy hunting. I'm going to look for it because it's kind of fun. Granted, it's a lot different, it's a lot different than your other versions of this one. But, there it is. We're going to stay different. We're going to hit up Multiversity. This is a 1 in 25 for Multiversity. We got Captain Carrot down below. Everything else, once again, matching. You got the other cat running in the place of the guy. Grant Morrison. Weird title. Been around for a while. This is a 1 in 25. I think this was heavily printed too, so there might be a lot of these because the price, even for a 1 in 25, ain't that bad. $20. One sold for at the beginning of March. Asking prices, 24 to 40. Yeah, it's 1 in 25. Keep that in mind. I know we don't usually go into those types of ratios on this show, but for this topic, it felt appropriate. So we're going to stick with it. We get another 1 in 25, also from DC. But this is the Scribblenauts variant for Action Comics 27. So this is part of the New 52. Rebooted, restarted everything. So they're issue 27. The whole month was Scribblenauts variants, I believe, 1 in 25s. But here we go. Once again, like the other one, none have sold. So nobody's been buying this lately, at least in the last 3 months. And as far as asking prices go, well, I found a raw looking for $62 out of the UK with another $20 shipping, or a signature series 9.8. I think it's signed by Greg Pak, who was the writer at the time, for $170. Take that for what it's worth. Those 1 in 25. All right. I know I keep saying I'm going to keep it weird, but there are a lot of weird homages to Action 1, including, well, Malibu. You guys remember Malibu? Prime. I liked Prime. And this was Prime number 1, but this was the limited edition foil. Ooh, with a hologram. Look, it's a hologram homage. I tried to get the best picture I could that shows it. You see, got the guy up front, got the car, Prime holding it. Like, it's not bad for what it is, but it's a hologram cover. Gimmicks of the 90s. Gotta love it. Copy sold. One sold for $8, $8.50, and then another sold in a lot for almost $40. I don't know. I mean, you can keep an eye out for it in those dollar bins, but the hologram might catch people's eyes. That said, not a people are going to pay a lot of money for it, but I kind of want one. I might even have one somewhere buried, but I don't know. Just seeing this again got me all nostalgic. Asking prices. There's one at auction that was only up to $5.50 at the time of me taking this clip. I think this was yesterday or today. Yesterday, I think I did these. And then we got another one starting bid at $10. No bids yet. Buy it now for 30. And then there's a lot with this one and the annual. That has a pretty cool Boris painted cover. $75 for that lot, though. That's a little steep for me. But that's to give you a sense. This is not a pricey book, but this is one of those weird oddball things that I am personally nostalgic for. Wouldn't mind having one just for that reason. But who knows? All right. Now we'll get into the more really niche, I guess, kind of aspect of this. I think this is actually a store exclusive. I don't know which store it is, but this is Rick and Morty number 39. There are multiple homages for this particular issue for one reason or another, and I think a few of them are store exclusives. But Rick and Morty 39, yeah, pretty fun. He's got the spaceship instead of the car. It fits, right? This thing, again, since it was a store exclusive, I don't know what it cost from Jump Street. Might have been around $20, but it seems to be selling for about 25 to 30. That's what it seems to sell for. So once again, I don't know if your shop's going to have it or how you would find this, because that's the trouble with store exclusives. They're all online only, and for them to end up in LCSs, it's not always easy. But hey, you never know, because they buy collections all the time, and these types of books come in. But 25 to 30 seems to be what it sells for. Asking prices seem to be in that same range. Raw, 25, $30. A 9.8 is asking 100. But once again, if you like Rick and Morty, I do. I like the homage. But, there it is. Our final one, I think, for our purposes here today is another one of these weird limited things. And this time it's Lady Death. This is Apocalypse Abyss number 1, the homage edition. Once again, it's Lady Death. She got the car running, tire, everything fits. I know the trade dress up there says 666 and all that, but this is actually Apocalypse Abyss number 1. Multiple covers on this. Again, stores and Coffin Comics, etc. Like it's pretty much, I don't know. These aren't easy to find. The Lady Death books aren't really shelf books anymore. These are more specialized. They have their fans, and I think you got to buy direct for the most part. But this particular book, one sold for $40 back in February. $20 shipping out of Canada. Asking prices, well, damaged copies, and I highlighted that because they're both damaged, are looking for $30 to $45 for damaged versions of this. And then there's a 9.8 looking for $200. And I think this was limited. I think this was limited to like 1,000 or maybe 1,500 or maybe less than that. I don't even remember what it was limited to. I don't think the listings here say, I mean, one of them calls it a Kickstarter edition. I don't think this was a Kickstarter thing. I think this was just one of those odd, hard to find types of variants that they do for Lady Death books. So that said, that's our last Action Comics 1 homage. I know we got weird there at the end, and then didn't cover everything. Like I said, I know there's a few more that even popped to mind now that I probably should have included, but I think we went over 20 different versions. So I think that was plenty. Let me know what you think with this idea, this topic, if you want to see more of it. Like I said, I can mix it in here and there, just like the last to knows and the interlocking cover lover. They're just specialized topics that I can do under this Hidden Gems umbrella. And we just talk about some undervalued, underappreciated type stuff. Like I said, hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you found it interesting. Hopefully you found some comics that you might have already in your collection or things you might want to get now. I don't know. Like I said, this is just to build, not FOMO, but to build your collections. I just want us to all love and appreciate comics. That's what this is all about. That said, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate all the support. And yeah, I'll be back soon with some more content. I got to do Chasing Ghosts still. for this week. Got another weird selection of books there for you. And then, like I said, Tax Show will announce the final giveaway. There's like $200 worth of comics in that last pack, at least, if you add them all up. But somebody's going to win it. So it still could be you. You still got time because I'm not going to pull the names for the wheel until Wednesday. So make sure you try to do it by Tuesday to be on the safe side, because I'm not telling you what time on Wednesday. But once I pull the names, that's it. That's it. But comment on last week's Tax Show and watch it if you haven't already. And watch and comment on Friday's Mail Call Madness and get yourself up to 2 entries. You get one for each. One for each. And you get your name on the wheel twice. 2 shots, 2 bites of the apple. And with that, thanks again, and I'll see you soon with some more content. All right, later.